Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is another update for the palette that I'm doing with these two bad boys. So if you're interested in seeing how I did this month, then just keep watching. So I don't know if you've noticed, but my update number should have changed in the title because I've been doing a pan palette since January, but I wasn't panning these since January, so I wanted it to reflect for myself. So I'm going to start with this one. We're going to do this and then the other palettes later. So I'm just going to start with my Modern Renaissance palette. For some reason it has gone up a gram. I don't know how, but it went from 181 to 182. I'm just going to pop on the screen where I was. So I had finished Tempera, we had hit pan in Vermeer, and we had hit pan in Cypress Umber. And my goal was to expand the pan that was there and hit pan in Primavera and work myself through it. So as you can see where I was, and now you can see where I am now. Oh yeah, I don't know how I managed that, but we hit our goals this time. So I have scoot over to see if I can put the pictures on the side, but I might test putting the pictures just all up on the screen because I prefer myself when I'm watching to be able to see what's going on. So I'm going to do the usual and go through the uses, working my way across. So Tempera was already finished. Golden Ochre we just used the one time, and Vermeer the one time, and Bonfresco the one time. Antique Bronze, that's starting to have a little bit of a dip in it, and I've used that 6 times this month. What about Love Letter? We did not use Love Letter or Cypress Umber. I don't believe that's correct. I don't know if, I thought I did use Cypress Umber, so I mustn't have marked that down. Raw Sienna, Next Row Girl, we've used the one time, Burnt Orange twice, Primavera, here we are. So I used that, I used Primavera 12 times this update. And I've hit pan, but I've also started to work my way up towards the top. And the same with Vermeer. I've expanded the pan a lot with that, but I really like using Primavera as a highlight on my face and pretty much everywhere. Like I would be totally interested in having particularly those two shades as a single because I actually really enjoy it. So for Red Ochre I used once, and Venetian Red I didn't use. Warm Taupe I used 8 times. So I used Warm Taupe 8 times, and that has a bit of a massive dip going in it now. I use it for my brows predominantly. And then with Realgar I used 4 times. So I'm pretty happy with that because I find that I'm like rush panning and I'm not getting to like enjoy it, and I want to just enjoy it. But like I'm gravitating towards Primavera, not because I have to, but because I want to. So it's actually lovely. The formula in this is still lovely and fluffy and poofy and loofy. I'm not looking forward to going into those like the Venetian Red, Red Ochre and Love Letter because I'm just going to be pink all of the time again. And I feel like I wore myself out on that. But okay, so goals for next time. The goal for the next time I think is to hit side pan on Primavera and to just work maybe on Antique Bronze a bit more, give that a bit of loving. But yeah, just keep going with this one. So my next one is my Subculture, and that still for some reason weighs 195 grams. I'm just gonna pop up on the screen where I was. So I had hit pan in Cube the last time, and kind of that was pretty much it. And my goal was to primarily focus on Adorn, and I didn't think that I would do anything pretty substantial in this last piece, this last month. But if you see where I am now, we did do some juicy progress, which is actually really surprising. So again, I'm going to pop it up on the screen and we'll go through the uses. So the first one is Cube. I used that, oh my God, I used Cube another 27 times in order to finish it. Holy Mother of the Divine Lord. And then for Dawn, I think you can see Dawn there. Dawn, for me, looking at it in real life, I don't know if you can see it up there, is starting to have a bit of a dip in it, and I use that 12 additional times. It's just such a handy shade for me. It's like a crease shade. I thought that would be a matte setting shade, but no, it is a crease shade for me and it's quite nice. Destiny I used 3 times. Adorn I only used 3 times, and it's not as pigmented as I remember it to be. So that made me a bit like, you better get yourself together and move along with it. All Star I used 4 times. Mercury I used once. Axis twice, and for me Axis is starting to have a little bit of a dip. Next row is Roxy, and I used that twice, and Electric 4 times. Fudge 1 time. New Wave I used 4 times, Untamed 3 times, Edge 3 times, and Rowdy 8 times, which I'm actually pretty happy because that means I used every shade in this palette this month, considering I am still working from home. I think in the last 2 weeks, I think it's 2 weeks now, yeah, twice, I'm working in the office 1 day a week, and I brought this in the last day and I went ham by accident and smokied the crap out of myself, and I was a little bit paranoid. But if I have any looks, I will insert them on the screen to show you. But I'm really happy with how I'm getting on. What is my goal for next time? Well, you see, this formula is actually not as poofy as the other ones. It's pigmented enough and I don't really need as much to get the job done. So again, I'm going to work away on Adorn. My goal is to use Adorn 10 times, which actually will be pretty hard for me. My goal is to use Adorn 10 times and keep working away on those other shades. For the single that I had rolled in the last time in place of Tempera, I said it was a matte cream shade from a Makeup Revolution palette, and I'll insert on the screen where I was. I had just introduced it and I said it was a matte cream shade. It is not matte cream, it is satin and glittery with no base pigment. So when I apply it down to my eye, it just looks I have suddenly applied just shimmery, glittery pieces, and it's rotten. I don't like it at all. But look, I don't care. And as you can see, this time I hit pan. I hit pan on it, so I am just going to work away on that and try and finish it. Like, I'm happy enough that I hit pan on it, but it is not a nice colour. Formula is fine colour because there's no base pigment. I just wanted a matte cream and that's what I thought I was getting, but it's not. But I don't care enough to declutter it. I want to finish it. And since I've hit pan, I'm really happy. How many times have I used it? I used this 14 times this month, which means I've used it a total of 14 times. And now, my rolling element. So I had 3 palettes rolled in the last time as a kind of a 1 month, 1 palette kind of a thing. That was the goal, because for the 4 years I keep panning stuff and I neglect everything else, and that is not the life that I want to live anymore. So I had these 3 palettes rolled in to work on, and I was getting overwhelmed by the amount of shadows. But anyway, this, because I hadn't got used to it. So I'll start with this one, the Colourpop Semi-Precious. There's not really much to say. My goal was to use all of the shades, and I used all of the shades. My favorite one is this one here. It is absolutely stunning. There's a cool tone shaded here, which is really exciting to have some cool tones back in my life. But I used them all. They're all shimmer shades, and Elaine gave this to me in our swap. I'm so grateful. I absolutely love them. I love those burgundy colors in there. But that is that one. This is exciting. I hit bonus pan. Unintentional bonus pan. Now, I know the shade wasn't a hard one to hit pan on. However, I find for me accidental pan is more exciting than intentional pan. I purchased this palette in July of 2019, and generally Colourpop stuff take about 2 months to get to me. So yeah, it's not even that long old. So here we are with this one. I absolutely love this. It's a beautiful palette, and look at my little pan. Yes, it's in the glitter shade, but who cares, girl? It is in there. It's beautiful. I love this palette so much. Do you see this shade up here? This one here. Side to Side. It's called Side to Side. And this reminds me of Frog, the Colourpop Super Shock. I said it right the first time. This is quite similar to that in the sense that it's like this real cool topper shade. I absolutely love this palette. There is 2 shimmers, a Super Shock, a glitter, 2 glitters, and like the rest are mattes. Absolutely love this palette. Bloody beautiful. And the third one that I had rolled in is this California Love from Colourpop, and I absolutely love this one as well. It's absolutely bloody stunning. God, heaven. So I managed to use all of the shades in here as well. Some of them I even used twice because I couldn't remember how I felt. One thing to note, this shade here, I don't know if it's the same for everyone else who has this palette. It's in Surf Rider. That was an odd formula. It felt kind of dry and a little bit crumbly, but it did look beautiful on the eye. Love this palette. Would recommend if you don't own. This is the palette that I owned and stopped me from buying the Natasha Denona Bronze palette because I looked at loads of videos and swatches and they looked pretty much the same. And even if they didn't, the ones that appealed to me more were in this. So thank you. I think this is like $11 or $12, apparently. Now, rolling in time in place of that. We're rolling in 2 palettes, okay? We're gonna start with an oldie. This is the Urban Decay Naked 3 palette. And I haven't used this palette in an embarrassing amount of time. And I have a spreadsheet going because I'm into that, because I'm nerdy like that, and I have a little section where I have all of my palettes on and how many times I've used it, and I've started taking tallies for this year, only for a couple of months, and this palette has not been used yet in 2020, and I want to get use out of it this month. You know, I went through my drawer, I have a declutter drawer going, and I went through my palettes and decluttered a few, which is painful, but I did. And this one I was like, God, the colours look so pretty, but I haven't used you to remember. So this has been rocked on out. That Trick shade is so beautiful, isn't it? It's just so beautiful. And there's some cool tones in here as well. And I don't really have cool tones in my collection. God, it really does bend back. So I just want to use it and see what the story is. I did declutter 1 palette because I owned this one. There was 2 very similar and I said I'd keep this over that. But I do know that I was obsessed with this shade here before. So I'm curious to see how I will feel about this, if I will still love it. And yeah, I'm going to work on this now for the month. And the second and final palette that will be coming in for the month to get some lovin' is my Bye Bye Birdie. Oh my God. Bye Bye Birdie, bye bye, from Colourpop. And yes, I just want to use this. I want to use this for the month also. I don't feel confident in bending this one back. But look at the shades in here. Aren't they beautiful? I know glitter shades aren't for everyone, but even if they were, if you are that person, look at this Excuse Me shade. I don't know if you can see on camera, but look at that blue. So, and we have a Super Shock over here as well, and over here. These are some kind of unique enough shades. Not this one. I feel like this one is duplicated pretty much in the Sweet Peach, isn't it? This reminds me a little bit of the It's My Pleasure. But yeah, I'm curious. I haven't really dipped into this one because again, I ordered it in July and kind of went ham on those other 2. So I've been looking forward to using this and just having all of my palettes used. This is exciting. So just to refresh your memory, these are the palettes that I will be working on for the rest of my life. No, these ones are for the month and this one's until, pretty much until I complete them hopefully, or at least until December, and then we see what the story is. Will we do a Pando's eyeshadows next year or will we continue with this? I don't know. If you're doing a Pando's eyeshadows or a Panda palette or anything to do with using eyeshadows or spreadsheets, anything about eyeshadows, let me know and I will definitely watch it. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch. I hope you do subscribe. The next video on my channel should be a haul that I do, that I have. It should be a haul. I got stuff for my birthday and I just want to haul it and keep recollection of it and go from there. So thank you so much. Take care. See you the next time.